listening to a special interview segment for the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com.
Okay, folks, joining us this week, our guest, he is here to talk about his recently released book, Damn, Why Did I Write This Book Too? Now available on iTunes and Amazon. One half of the tag team Cryme Time, the one and only JTG. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, what's good?
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Oh, doing fantastic. Very nice to have you on the show. We certainly appreciate you coming on. And this book is actually the follow-up to your 2015 released book, Damn, Why Did I Write This Book? Sort of a play on your infamous tweet the day you found out that you had been released from the WWE, Damn, Why Did I answer the phone? But you're actually, this is a very interesting book. I read both of them this past week and very fun to read. And that's coming from someone who does not read books. But it's not a biography of your time in WWE, but more of stories and situations that you ended up finding yourself in. You give your take on gaining heat backstage. That is a huge part of the book. Traveling on the road, traveling to other countries, and certain other events throughout your career. Now, as opposed to writing a biography, what inspired you to write your books in this fashion?
What inspired me to write the book is because friends and family. A lot of my friends and family who don't watch wrestling, they want to know a lot about the business. You don't encounter a wrestler every day, so they want to know a little bit about the road. So when I tell them stories and tell them about the wrestling business, they can't believe it. And the way I tell my stories in a comedic fashion, not so much bitter, but because I'm not bitter about it. Everything is the experience, and I enjoyed my time in the WWE and. Like I said before, everything is experience. They would pretty much tell me the same thing all across the board, that I need to put this in a book. I had no intention to write a book. I had no idea how to go about writing a book. But after I keep hearing the same thing over and over again, you need to put this in a book, you need to write a book, I decided to go about it by self-publishing my stories.
Very cool. And for the listeners of our show, they know in all of our interviews that we always ask for, fun stories that you don't really hear about, stuff that happens on backstage. And that's why I highly encourage our listeners to go out and check out this book, because that's exactly what it is. It's your take on events backstage. And the really cool thing about it is you don't necessarily name drop, but you do give hints as to who the person is that you're talking about. So it kind of leaves you speculation every once in a while. Like, is it this person? And then you'll drop a clue and be like, oh, it's that guy. Okay, I see where you're going from it. So it makes it really fun. It's it's a compelling, look backstage, because not a lot of fans get to go backstage and find out what people are really like when they go back behind the curtain. They only see what they see when they go towards the ring and, or the promos backstage. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do when I wrote this book. There was like a few key points that I wanted to hit. I definitely wanted to lift the veil, pull the curtain back behind what goes on backstage, because professional wrestling, WWE Superstars, we portray an image that, a lot of like we're larger than life. So, and when you get behind the scenes, you'll be surprised how WWE Superstars, their egos are so fragile, and you could get very upset and get into altercation because of really petty situations, and you can get heat off of it. And for those on heat is pretty much like backstage is like a dark cloud following a superstar, or like the cooties for grown-ass men. Absolutely. And it could be anything from getting up from the table and not asking if your buddies needed anything, or you didn't shake the right person's hand, or anything like that. Or wearing sunglasses in the arena thinking that you're a star. Yeah, exactly. Trying to get yourself over outside of the original program. It's amazing some of the stuff you can get in trouble for not even knowing that you had anything to do with it. And as I was reading the book, the only thing that popped into my mind was that season of WWE Tough Enough where Stone Cold Steve Austin hosted it, where it didn't matter what someone did. They could, if they were trying to showcase what they could do, they were showing off. If they tried to tone it down, they were slacking off. There was a lose-lose situation. It didn't matter what you did, you were doing the wrong thing. Is that kind of how it is backstage? Yeah, pretty much. If you're don't have that right person, like that's what I talked about in the second book, was how to play the game. Once you align yourself with a certain top guy, you could get away with stuff like that. So, for example, if Stone Cold was still backstage and he took me under his wing,
I will have to find a balance. I don't have to keep that certain balance or walk on certain eggshells because people will know that I'm, Stone Cold is backing me. And that's as ridiculous as it sounds. That's how it is backstage.
Sounds very like late middle school, early high school. You got to get in the right clique. You have to fit in with the right crowd. It just seems very, mundane.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like let's say I walked in late, you'll get chastised, you'll get yelled at, you get fined. But if I walked in late and I was with Stone Cold, oh yeah, he's with me, he's fine. It's a totally different ball game.
Yeah, exactly. And was there a particular person backstage that when you initially got to the WWE, you thought this guy, there's no way that he and I are going to hang out or become friends, but you ended up hanging out and getting to know one another really well? Is there someone that kind of took you by surprise like that?
I hung out with a lot of guys. I wouldn't say that I never thought I would hang out with them, but I'd be surprised that we had such a cool bond. Like for example, Bray Wyatt. I started riding with him on the road. I never knew that we would be such cool friends and click the way we did. Like me and him would drive 4 or 5 hours, and we would talk nonstop. And when there was silence, it wasn't uncomfortable.
Very cool. And yeah, we do hear lots of stories of people getting into cars with one another and essentially becoming road wives, as the saying would be. Aside from Bray Wyatt, who were some of the people that you rode with on a regular basis?
I rode one time. I was surprised. Me and TJ rode one weekend together, and me and him, TJ, from the what's his stage name? Tyson Kidd. Me and him rode one weekend together, and we had a great relationship. We built a bond. I didn't think that me and him would be able to be friends like that, but after that, we kind of understood each other a little bit more, and there's a mutual respect definitely after that.
Very nice. And you were a fan, as many of us were. Whenever you were very young, it was long before you even became a wrestler. Right out of high school, you got into wrestling school. You lived the dream. You were in the WWE for about 8 years. Do you keep up with the current product still? Do you still consider yourself a fan, or have you kind of moved on past that stage?
I would consider myself a little bit of a fan. I'm not a diehard fan. I would say that I watch the big events. Mm-hmm. I will watch WrestleMania. I watch Royal Rumble. I'll watch SummerSlam. I'll watch the Raw after WrestleMania, and that's pretty much it. I still have friends who watch wrestling. My mom keeps up with the product. She's still a diehard fan, and I might glance at it every now and then. But yeah, you're not going to see me running to put Raw on.
Following, you became somewhat of an internet phenomenon when it seemed that for years you kind of you were able to lay underneath the agent's radars from the featured endeavored list. What do you think allowed you to stick around for so long?
I can definitely say that I believe this is what I feel, that Vince saw something in me. When I first got there, and a few months in, Vince will put me to the side and he will tell me things that really encourage me. Like he would tell me things like, "You have a lot of charisma, you have a lot of potential, you're still young. I see a bright future in you." Shane did that, put me to the side one time at the WrestleMania after party. You have so much charisma. You're young. You have a bright future ahead of you. Keep your head up. And, so that definitely encouraged. That made me more charismatic, made me more comfortable in the ring. So I definitely believe Vince and Shane saw a lot of potential in me. I think that's what kept me there as long as 8 years. But as me, there was a lot of rumors that I was hiding in the locker room and trying to be unseen. It's like, that's absolutely BS.
Ducking out in catering.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I did hang out in catering a lot. No, I was not hiding in catering.
And in one part of the book, you did mention how you became sort of a regular backstage, so much that some of the catering staff would kind of have food ready for you to go. They would know you and have something ready to go. The upper management mentioned so much, you got to grab that brass ring. You got to go for it. You got to come up with something to reinvent your character. And then when someone does or tries, they just get completely shut down. You look at what happened to Zack Ryder at WrestleMania, and then the night after. You look where Damian Sandow was a year ago as opposed to now. What advice would you give to those guys and wrestling fans or future wrestlers who want to try and get into the WWE?
The advice advice that I give them is get my second book. Definitely get the second book. It's subtitled How to Play the Game. It doesn't matter how good you look. It doesn't matter how good your promos are. It doesn't matter how good you wrestle. It's about building those relationships and leveraging them. It's about doing those power moves that's strategically planned outside of the ring. You know, that's what got a lot of wrestlers ahead. It wasn't just being all those components that I just named to you about being the total package. Like that whole brass ring speech, that's all BS, because we've seen talent grab that brass ring and shove it in their pocket and only to be yanked out.
The very next day. There seems to be sort of a revitalization of the tag team division, and during your time, it seems like they started to have a surge with tag teams, and then they would just split everybody up, just one after another, and it was like, what are they thinking? What are they going with? You know, some tag teams, they want to go that individual route. Was that the same case with you and Shad?
Yeah, we did wanted to explore, you know, going our singles route, and you saw how that worked out. Yeah. But you know, speaking with Shad, you know, he definitely wants to come back. I'm kind of like back and forth on the situation. They're doing some great things with the tag team division right now. You know, they got the Dudleys there. They have New Day. They got Enzio and Cass. You know, so there's a lot of potential there, and a lot of things we could do. One of the main reasons why Chad and I wanted to split was because they weren't doing anything with the tag team division. Mm-hmm. You know, they were giving away spots to wrestlers who they just put together. Right. You know, Chad and I were really discouraged and disappointed. You know, one WrestleMania, they put together Morrison, I can't remember, was it Truth, to go against Jericho? Yeah. It was like, that's a WrestleMania spot. Why would you just put two tag teams together? Mm-hmm. You just put two individual stars together just to make a tag team when you have a tag team here that the fans love, who are over, and you would just bypass them just to give like, it was, to me, it was disrespectful as a tag team. Absolutely.
You know, you have people who have worked years on their tag team careers, and they get passed aside because they just want to say, oh, we'll just throw these two guys together. That'll work. It just
exactly
doesn't make any sense. Now, following your release, was there ever any interest to try and reach out to Ring of Honor or TNA or even New Japan?
Before the release, you know, a couple of years before that, I was deciding to act for my release on my own and go to TNA because I was still passionate and in love with wrestling. But like I said in my first book, you know, when I discussed it with my wife, she was pregnant at the time, and I couldn't make that decision on my own. But when I got released, my heart wasn't in wrestling anymore. I started to realize that it was a lot of it had to do with politics, and at that time I wanted to be in control of my own destiny, so I was exploring more entrepreneur routes. And that's where I am right now. That's what my mindset is right now. It's creating something and giving it to the public and getting that response back. You know, and with the book, you know, I explored that with the book, and I'm getting great response from the book. It feels extraordinarily great to write something, put it out to the world, and get such positive feedback, and then monetize off of that.
Absolutely. Even I reread your first book this morning, and got to the part where you're talking about taking the Cobra from Santino Marella. So I pulled up YouTube, went to that particular clip, and there's just a list of comments saying, "The book sent me here. The book sent me here. He sold it like a champ."
Yeah, man, that was one of the finishers I love taking, because I've taken that finisher maybe 3 to 4 times, and I tried to sell it different every single time.
And you did a phenomenal job. I just got to say, probably the best person to have ever taken that Cobra.
It was my last match.
Yeah, last match, but you went out with a bang. So it was really entertaining. So I got to ask, you know, you say you're not that much interested in going back to the WWE. You know, maybe if they call, we'll see how things play out. Who knows? Yeah. So what is next for JTG? Are we going to see you wrestling in the indie circuit? Or is there going to be a third book coming out? What are some future projects you have coming up?
Future projects I got going on. You know, I'm definitely love writing, especially comedy. So we'll see where that will take me. There's been some talks when I go back to California. It's going to sound really outside the box, but bear with me. Turning these stories into a musical or a play.
I would like to see that, actually. I think people would travel to see it.
I think so, too. The people are loving the stories, and to have comedians play out WWE Superstars, and then have them guess who it is. I think that's a lot of fun about the book, too, is guessing who the superstars are.
Oh, absolutely. You just got to make sure you get the right hand gestures.
So seeing these stories played out again in real life, I think the fans that's something that they'll definitely pay money to see and come back to see it again, tell all their friends about.
Definitely.
Another project I'm working on, the book, still doing going to go back to the Hollywood thing and keep continuing to audition. I see Shad doing his thing, and now that I cut my hair, my agent would love to work with me more.
Make you marketable, get you out there.
Yeah.
So very cool. Well, like I said, the book, Damn, Why Did I Write This Book 2, available on iTunes and Amazon. You can go online, purchase it. There's also going to be a physical copy that you can purchase on Amazon, only $9.99, so really affordable, really good read. And one of the incentives is if you provide proof that you purchased the book, you yourself, JTG, will personalize it. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. I'll autograph it, personalize it for you, and if you definitely got to send me paid postage to send it back, and it'll be right. I'll send it back the next day. Also, the audiobook is being recorded this weekend, so hopefully the audiobook will be available another week or two on Amazon.
Oh, very cool. That'll definitely be worth checking out. And for more information on JTG, you can follow him on Twitter at JTG1284. Are there any other social media sites that people can go to find you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You can hit me up on Instagram at JTG1284. And for those who read the book, this is worth money to me. If you could go on Amazon and leave a review, that's leaving a review for an author is priceless. So I appreciate that. For all the fans who enjoyed the book, and I know you did, don't lie, don't deny it. Go write a review on Amazon.
Absolutely. Really good stuff. JTG, again, I appreciate you coming on the show and hope you have a great evening.
You too, man. Have a great night.